Imagine having homework. It's unfortunate, huh? GG Feb though. So, how we designed it was the lower division will play on Saturday, week 7, right? We tried last playoff or last draft league to play both divisions in the same day. That was like a 4 a.m. night for me, and that was not a good idea. So we're going to do the upper and lower division tournament separate weekends. So week 7 is going to be the lower division, and then week 8 will be the upper division. But the thought process is going to be in week 7, this lower division is going to have the ability for first and second team, so the champion or winner of lower division and the runner-up will actually relegate up to the upper division to continue playing and have a chance back at trying to make it, or make double the cash, if you will. However, the conversation, and I've stated several times, the team from the lower division, first and second, will be the 13th and 14th seed. So they're going to play number 1 and number 2 going into the upper division tournament. So that is a long, hard road for them. And very much one of those moments where you might get a really big upset, or they just get completely obliterated. I guess we'll have to find out. Pause. Wait, so there's an actual tournament? Yeah. Guys, the league play right now, you're playing for seeding in that tournament. There's tournaments at the end of this. That's how you're earning / making your money. Does nobody read any announcements or any of the posts I actually make? I swear to God. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder about y'all. Horrific and heavily dropped in response. Target selection kind of switching back and forth. Do they have the damage? Kama now turning on to this Lafay, but the lockdown from this Ganesh Silence followed up by the stun. More than enough damage to secure first blood onto this Camazotz. It's a draft league that you're playing for seeding in 6 weeks, followed by a tournament. You're playing for your seeding going into the tournaments at the end of this. Yes. Yes. How it's designed. We have stated that several times, and I'll continue to state it. Why are we pausing so much? So the Camazotz is going to go full damage. These Guardians have Gem instead of what we would have thought with the Axe. So obviously trying out the Gem starts for this Guardian. So first blood here for Honda Odyssey going on to this Odin. I'm keeping an eye on this Odin build to see if he actually goes this Bobble to try to burn through possible Phantom Shells mid to late game. Red not yet spawned. It is pretty notable. Yes, all 3 of them have jumps, but none of them have Phantom Shells. So if they can catch an Odin ult post jump, there's a really good chance we're going to find some big value. Do they have the damage? There's all 3 ults from Honda Odyssey. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little concerned with De5troyer and his Lackeys draft. I do think it's spicy, but it's going to take some high execution / communication from this roster on target selection. Because their dive, they're all in more often than not. It's going to be at this Lafay. But this Ganesh is going to make that anti-dive so rough to deal with. It's a nice little blue buff invade for Honda Odyssey to go with the red buff. And First Blood. Decent start for Honda Odyssey. Can they continue to build on that going into the mid-game? I'm a little concerned right now because of the blink. There is no beads on this Camazotz. This Ganesh is going to be pivotal for this Lafay and the survivability for Honda Odyssey. Johnson spawned in. Purple going to be shortly spawning in after. Heavenly is dropped. And a Jing Chen ult jumped over by Odin ult. And Ganesh ult dropped from Honda Odyssey. So purple buff. Now red buff being challenged. Odin isn't here. This is going to be a 2v3. Emma does have ult up. Ganesh should be the target. Can they catch the dash? They caught it with Cerber ult. This should be a death. So a nice little return kill. Red pulled. Odin jumps in. He's unable to secure the red. Can they find enough damage to kill this Odin now? These tanks are split. They able to find the second. Starting to catch their stride here. Destroyer and his lackeys. Picking both tanks and getting the red buff. Immediately bringing this back to a small lead for themselves. This is going to be an interesting back and forth game. Johnson's going to be spawning in shortly. Honda Odyssey grabbing blue. Sunny with the 3 months. Appreciate you, big dog. Hopefully you're enjoying the league. What do you mean, nope? What does that even mean? Assuming it's going to be a Glat shield. Odin gets Johnson. I'm keeping an eye on second relics as we're starting to tick over into level 10 and second item spikes here. It's going to be kind of pivotal for this Camazotz to get beads for this dive. Currently only has blink to his names. This Ganesh between Jing Chen ult and Cerber ult thrown under tower twice. Goes down for an easy kill from Odyssey. Returned back. So 1 for 1. Camazotz doesn't have beads. Fortunately, Odin jumping in, missing a stun, goes down. While Jing Chen able to pick the Lafay. A 3 for 1 now. Destroyer and his lackeys. Almost in a full sprint. Red spawning in. I'm not gonna lie, this only gets harder for Honda Odyssey when this Camazotz gets beads. Second item spikes coming online. A Glat shield, like I had mentioned, that the 20% cooldown for this Odin. A mystical for the Jing Chen. Take a quick peek at leveling orders. The 1 over the 3. There's the beads already for the Camazotz. They still have a window. This Ganesh Odin doesn't have second relics. So the Xingqian Serb alts have potential to really mess with Honda Odyssey in this double frontline. Odin alt dropped. Immediately, Camazotz just jumps away to his pools. Camazotz is wrapping, has blink up. The double alt between Xingqian and Cerberus, able to throw the Ganesh back twice. Do they have enough damage to find any return from Honda Odyssey? At this point, Destroyer's Lackeys are just playing catch with this Ganesh. That's so unfortunate. Kama unable to catch the 2. This dive is insane between this triple. It actually might result in a T1. Cerberus has to jump away. They're able to find T1. And a nice little spike, almost 2,500 to their name. They leave Johnson. The Ganesh getting beats. Odin not quite at second relic. Lefay doesn't pick up second relic yet either. A triple blink, though, on the other side for Destroyer and his Lackeys. Trying to get on top, get active against this Honda Odyssey roster. I said it in the beginning and I'll say it again. A lot of this game is going to come down to the anti-dive, or the peel that's going to be in Lefay's kit or this Ganesh. How they end up facilitating that is completely up to them. Beads are used. Camazotz jumps in. Kama has beads and alt goes into alt. Ganesh alt to zone. It looks like the Xingqian's being pinged out to be the target here. All 3 members strong for Honda Odyssey are looking to pick it up. Xingqian, double jump, is out of the fight, but are they able to return it? Ganesh dropping heavily. Everybody is so low. Do they have the damage? Kama misses both 1 and 2. Can he find it? Beats through the knockup. Goes through a second. Odin doing his very best to find anything in return. And up downs gets a reverse up down by the Cerberus. And a full deicide for Destroyer and his Lackeys. That is unfortunate. Destroyer and his Lackeys are shining through some of these fights, finding their way back. I'm wondering, is just the lack of anti-heal presence? They only have horrific currently? Is that really all it is outside Odin Cage? There's the bobble. This Camazotz is actually going to go bobble. I'm assuming the Odin will be doing the same. Looking for that spicy cooldown. Oh, so 50% cooldown from this Kama. This will be the first siege on Bird from Destroying his Lackeys. Xingqian throws both frontline back into a Serb alt, throwing them further. While this Camazotz Immediately trying to dive the Lafay. Forces Aegis. I don't mind this. It looks like the calls, the Jing Chen is the initial engage, throwing both frontliners back into the Cerbalt so the Kama can then dive this Lafay solo without the Ganesh being anywhere near to help peel. Obviously a big portion of that is the Lafay. Aegis provides a chance for her to survive that dive from the Camazotz. Ultimately still resulting in Bird. Honda Odyssey stepping up here, looking for a fight. Ganesh dashes in and misses it. They don't have ults up. Can he survive? Heavenly dropped by Destroyer and his Lackeys. It looks like Ganesh is the target. Beads immediately forced. Ults are so close to being timered. But do they have the damage to find that pick? Ganesh goes down on that extension. All three members of Destroyer and his Lackeys knocking on the door. Camazot's forced to ult. The Lafay ult. Odin thrown back by the Jing Chen ult. A full fire wave here. No teammate for at least 20 seconds. Lafay forced to solo defend. Titan, does she have it? And the ability to do so. Unfortunately, going down herself. 10 seconds. Destroying his Lackeys. Looking for a confident, strong game one with a triple dive with double guard assassin. It's a 14-minute game and we didn't even get a full bobble. Damn it. Destroyer just built different, huh? Composition-wise, I would think that early to mid with this Chalk, Poke, or E-Shell, just base cooldowns, they should have pressure. However, late game, this Wukong has Rune Forge. Sanher gets about 4th or 5th item. I find it real hard for Honda Odyssey to be able to combat that unless this E-Shell gets a phenomenal amount of healing or Destroying his Lackeys don't prioritize any kind of anti-heal into a Jing Chen Chalk E-Shell. If they find that anti-heal, whether through horrific or itemization, I'm concerned that Honda Odyssey won't be able to stand those fights and be able to fight back into this well-seasoned Destroying his Lackeys roster. Destroyer did win game one. Once this timer bears down, you'll be able to see that record. Calling it here, no game 3. Confidence, you love it. Keep up, Joust. Appreciate the follow. Welcome, welcome. The shell pick's a definite L. See, I would say that sometimes when I got to see Paul play it, and he makes me feel like that has a chance. On her looking to go Gilded into Ozzy. We saw in-game Nirwan Destroying his Lackeys with this double guard. They went 2 gems this game. Not even Charon obviously going to gem. Both going Axe. Trying to get to that Sundering Axe late game. Will they be able to match that clear from this E-Shell due to having an ADC? I talked about this pressure / area AoE damage from Honda's Odyssey. They need to capitalize off that and find some pressure early, but can they find this purple buff secure? It's actually secured by Destroying his Lackeys, but how does this post-fight look? Heavily dropped by Destroying his Lackeys. This E-Shell's the target. The Tiger Stun comes through. This on her looks to jump in, finding first blood. Destroying his Lackeys striking gold. Can they find the second? They do, off of this Wukong and a 2-0 start with purple buff. A dream lead for Destroyer and his Lackeys. There's a minute and a half in. Chalk just stopping Charon back. Red's gonna be spawning in. Trainer, Honda Odyssey have wave pressure preparation for Red, but you got to be careful because you just got ultimates, but they find that pick on this Charon before he gets the chance to ult in response. Finding a small window with this E-Shell ult. But can they secure this red buff over this Wukong Bludgeon? Are able to secure red as well. So a little bit of ground recovered. Now just being that first blood difference. I'm still pretty heavily favoring Destroyer and his Lackeys roster with this ADC late game. It is on Honda Odyssey to find this pressure mid-game. They seem a little lackluster on some of the coordination. Can they clean this up and look for building that pressure and eventually get the ball rolling for this roster? Or will Destroyer and his Lackeys just run through it, continue to build some of their lead, however slow, get this on her, 2-4 items, and chunk through this double front? Checking leveling order. So first items coming online. Charon just going to do his best to continually poke out and get these cloak stacks online. Johnson spawning in now. So purple buff secured behind Odyssey. Johnson going toward Destroyer and his Lackeys. Currently already pointed out by Keep Up Joust. There is no Tainted or any anti-heal built in outside of this horrific current moment for Destroyer and his Lackeys versus Xingqian Chalky Shell. So these elongated fights should heavily favor Honda Odyssey. However, how does that look with this constant poke from this Charon? A little bit of time. It's going to be wave red here. Honda Odyssey trying to poke down Destroyer and his Lackeys. Obviously, they have their own sustained healing in preparation for this red to build up some pressure. Red spawning in now. Chalk drops all. Only catches the Wukong. Charon's ulting in. On her ult, the Xingqian ult goes for a nice little impale. The silence comes through for the Xingqian and more than enough damage. Now the E-Shell's here alone, getting chunked down, and a double for the on her. I will say, as far as an on her goes, or an ADC, a 3-0 is a dream start.
Are you not entertained?
Cannot ask for more.
Are you not entertained?
Don't mess with the god. Appreciate the follow. Greatest, we are more than entertained. Getting a show put on here by Destroyer and his Lackeys. But as far as, like I was stating, this ADC, we talk about it often, into a double frontline, needs that 4, if not 5th item slot. And already having a 3-0 start for him being facilitated so exceptionally by this double front. Kind of a dream start. Should be backing for a T2 directly after bluer speed. Charon at 10 stacks. Instead of a T2, the Sonher is actually able to get a full Xe. That's a full item. That's a big spike. He's got a full item while everybody on the opposing team only a T1. It's a decent lead, especially leading into second relics at level 12. Can they find some value off that purple secured by Honda's Odyssey? Charon ulting off of the SWK Tiger Stun. Do they have the damage? Wukong ult able to secure the pick on this E-Shell. Jing Chen ulting the SWK under tower. Do they have the damage between the Jing Chen ult Chalk ult? They're able to find a pick in return. Can they find yet another one onto this on her? Or is the Axie Ozzy going to chunk through? There's the damage. They have it. It's one more. Able to find it with the burn off of the Jing Chen 1. So a 2-for-1 currently. Charon dash is down. A blink for the body block. Can they find this pick? Ishao trying to path in as quick as possible. Finds the 2. Does he have it? He doesn't. Goes down in a 3-for-1. Consider it a sale. Just Honda Odyssey trying to find their way back in. Wukong drops Horn Shard for the cooldown. Puts it just unable to secure it. Honda Odyssey secures. Looking now for Johnson. That is a pretty rough kill when you start talking about that as on your most valuable net worth, shifting just a little bit. It's a big shift for the lead. XP now in favor of Honda Odyssey. Gold still a little bit in favor for destroying his Lackeys. I am curious as far as net worth goes. On her still holds it. But Jing Chen getting the pick on the on her finds a little bit. Charon continuing to try to stack this cloak. Horn Shard popped by this E-Shell, looking for this cooldown. All turned on. Double ultimate. Do they have the damage to find a return pick on this Charon? Instead, the Wukong able to find the pick on the E-Shell as the Charon is still standing. We started talking about part of the issue within the BBC Draft Joust League, or in any of my tournaments and leagues right now. There's a requirement of the DPS player cannot build any protections, right? Typically in this situation, you would throw a breastplate on or an alternate timeline for survivability level 20. This E-Shell does not have that with this double dive. They have to find, if this E-Shell is going down, the return value or pick. This Chalk Jing Chen have to find a trade. And I'm not sure in a 2v2 who I favor more. Purple being secured by E-Shell currently. Red spawning. On her's pathing toward red. Here alone. This is a 2v1. Can the on her find this secure? It looks like he was just trying to find minis. He's got to be really careful. He's able to secure the red buff. with Impale, but does he get turned on for this damage? Jing Chen able to find the pick with this E-Shell ulting through for the healing. And a little bit greedy of an extension by this on her while he's able to secure red, dropping both relics and his life in return. We talked about this lead that Destroyer and his Lackeys built. This on her was 3-0. You had some of that. I feel like that fight, while it was close, a little bit of a throw at that invade for that blue, turning a 3-for-1. And now the on her stepping up out of position to try to steal that red buff. Puts himself in a vulnerable spot going down. This lead that we had started here starting to dwindle away, going back in favor of Honda's Odyssey, just off a couple misplays. Destroyer's Lackey just got to play it a little slower, recognizing their openings, and get this ADC to itemization late, where they can chunk down this tank's front line. I'm just wondering if they get a little too impatient how this is going to look. This healing's coming through. We don't have any anti-heal yet outside of this horrific still. Yeah, the sustain's going to be a little rough. C-Shell's going the exact same build that Paul was going. As on her needs Kins so badly. It looks like the Charon's the target now. Do they have the damage, though, to kill this off this E-Shell? Instead, we're throwing it straight into the E-Shell. This Wukong now turning all of his damage onto her. Can he find this pick? Wukong forced into ult. However, only Aegis forced on the E-Shell. Red's pulled by the sub Wukong. Able to be secured. Can he get out? E-Shell steps up into this on her. So a small net win here for Honda's, or excuse me, for Destroyer's Lackeys. They are able to find red buff, and as I say that, this dive from Honda Odyssey able to find a pick on this Charon. They have to be really careful. The E-Shell has ult. Wukong does not have ult in response. Can he go down? Root 2 just off the mark by this E-Shell. I feel like if that was able to hit that combo, that might have been a potential second kill. It might have transitioned into Bull, if not a T1. It's always so hard. You almost have to play picture perfect when it comes to casting. One or two missed abilities could mean the difference in a team fight, especially in these games that matter most going into playoffs for week number 7. I agree entirely. This on her is just waiting for Kins. He needs it so badly, especially into this double front line. That is going to be a bobble on this E-Shell, so we are looking at a 50% cooldown once this item is finished. I'm interested to see the contrast in that between the bobble and what we saw from Paul with this Obshard Soul Reaver. Does this E-Shell have enough? The 3K is actually going to be split among 6 teams. So how it works, you have 6 weeks of league play. There's 12 teams per division. So 24 teams in total. How it will go is week 7, Saturday, the bottom 12 teams So 7th through 12th, 7th through 12th, we put into a lower division tournament for a $1,000 prize pool, and then week 8, $2,000 prize pool for the upper 12. So there will be, the whole point is to spread some of the winnings versus just giving to the 1% and the best across the board. And as we grow the cash prize pools, obviously there's gonna be more and more money to be going to those teams. But I wanted to try to find some uniqueness. That being said, 2 alts. A Charon on her alt dropped. Now Wukong, so all 6 alts off the table. Red being pulled as Charon is the target, while the on her Wukong pull and secure red buff. Wukong Tiger stuns in, unable to find the stun on this E-Shell. This E-Shell turns so much damage onto this on her. How we doing, Wesley West? Wukong's got to be careful. He does not have all. The on her is forced to back. Red was already secured, so it should be pretty much the end of that. Wukong does have the cloak already stacked, going into tablet, 3rd item. This is that conscious part where you have this ADC with 4 items. You have to be so careful on when you're backing, because if you all back at the same time, just this will happen. The ADC is able to step on a T1 and easily secure tower, or potential on a full team back going to bull. They have to be a little bit more coordinated in communication from Honda Odyssey to make sure that is getting punished. This is one of those moments too. Wukong was low, immediately shifting over to bull. It's pinged out here by Destroyer's Lackeys. E-Shell, notable, was 5th or 6th on this list for damage. Starting to really make up ground with this cooldown. Unable to pull and secure bull, given Destroyer's Lackeys were able to make it back and show that they can 50-50 that in a fight. Proximity ward in hand for this Wukong was notable. There is no Rune Forge going this Jotuns into Brawlers for the anti-heal, so we have currently 1 source of anti-heal until we get an upgraded Xe from this on her. And that is a Brawlers in response, so plenty of anti-heal here. This is a little notable with how squishy. We don't see a Midgard on either one of these front lines to deal with this ADC. This ADC, I'm telling you, he gets the late game or gets this starter, he is going to rip through Honda Odyssey given the chance. I am super concerned. He is level 20, he's backs for this. He's going to get a couple lucky crits, and this fight is going to shift so poorly. Charon's wrapping, E-Shell, boost beads in air. Half health now, the damage already turned. Horrific was dropped, so the healing is not going to come forth. Does he get the chance to survive? Drops Aegis to try to path out. Wukong dashes forward off blink. Does he find the damage with bludgeon? He does. E-Shell goes down, and it's on her chunking through these tanks with Oboe. Destroyer's Lackeys path over to bull and pull it. Jing and Chalker here don't have ultimates up. Wukong's wrapping. They are looking for this fight. That is Chalk axe down. Jing Chen double jump as well. That being the case, should be easily secured by this on her. Both mobility and a pick. We are staggering death timers from Honda Odyssey. Destroyer and his Lackeys in the driving seat. 45 seconds on Jing Chen. E-Shell just spawning now. You have an upgraded Xe and more than enough damage. They could easily look for the end. Chalk doing his very best to find any damage, but like I said, this on her is chunking. E-Shell goes down. Chalk forced to watch as Destroyer and his Lackey secure game number 2 and a clean 2-0 over Honda Odyssey. truthfully, keep up Joust. I genuinely believe composition and draft, if they don't have the Midgard, this ADC gets to this itemization, 5th or 6th slot, and just rips them apart. Rookie, appreciate the follow. Welcome. Yeah, the draft is rough.